Hey all, this is Brian with MailLift, the handwritten letter company for businesses. Today with Crane & Co., founded in 1770, a world-class stationery brand, and the brand that we use here at MailLift. A stationery company needs a blog and social media presence to survive in today's marketplace. Just ask Jessic. She's Crane & Co.'s digital marketing manager, and she shapes much of the gorgeous content we see over there. Jessica, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
So I want to start with one of the biggest questions that we get, which is people keep on asking us, do handwritten letters work? And we had a past example with a company called Granite Med Systems who sent out 127 handwritten letters to little over a dozen companies and got over a 40% response rate. Do you have any examples that you have and you could share with us?
I do. Well, working for a stationery company, I try to write as many letters and notes as possible. And one of my many jobs is to just keep on top of any articles written about the art of the handwritten word. And so oftentimes I'll write reporters who have written about thank you notes and the importance of thank you notes, and I always get a handwritten response, which is always really fun for me, and it just kind of shows the impact, the power of the handwritten word. I write everyone who writes about how great handwritten letters are. And I would say 80% of the time I get a handwritten response, and I always get at least an email thanking me for the nice note that I wrote. So it definitely makes a difference and a really big impression, I think.
Yeah. Any suggestions for people writing out to press?
I would just say to always mention the article that you read. Really a good thank you note, whether it's for a wedding gift or whether it's to an editor or your mom, should always have as much detail as possible. So just don't say, thank you for this or thank you for that. Be specific and really call out what you're writing about, so that person knows that you actually took the time to give that level of detail.
And how do you incorporate handwritten letters in your digital marketing efforts and strategy?
So one great example is when I first started, I really wanted to see how many people out there really did still enjoy writing letters. So I started a pen pal campaign, and it was a contest, and after I think it ran for about a month or so, and at the end of that month, the winner, we just drew them randomly out of a hat, won personalized stationery. So I expected maybe a response every day or every other day, and I ended up receiving like a Whole Foods size bag of letters over the course of a month, and they just kept coming and coming. And a great problem to have was part of the deal was I would write them back. So I was expecting to maybe have to write a letter a day, but it kind of became this full-time job for about a month because I just had such a great response, which, is a good problem to have. But it made me realize how much people really still enjoy that connection.
Any suggestions for businesses looking to incorporate handwritten letters that they may not have thought of?
Sure. I think, honestly, writing anybody is a pleasant surprise. So I think writing that note or that letter when someone isn't expecting it, which is often the case now, but writing it when there's no reason to write it, I think has the most impact.
Yeah, I agree. I know internally at MailLift, we started reaching out to people after they've already been customers with us, and just when they weren't expecting it, thanking them for being with us, letting them know, hey, we liked this one mention that you guys did, or the random acts of kindness show
Exactly.
off. So Are there any, let's see, content or use cases that you find make handwritten notes extremely effective?
Um, I would say Instagram is a really great way to foster interest in the handwritten word. I think people love to see pictures of letters, and especially if you can create a really great hashtag around whatever campaign you're doing. One of my favorites is I believe it's called Email to Snail Mail, and it's a guy who would write out handwritten emails from people that he received emails from. And he did it all on Instagram, or promoted it on Instagram. And people got really excited about it. And I think that that I guess using that technology to promote this kind of old school medium, people are really ready for that. I think people are kind of sick of emailing, sick of texting, just really inundated with technology right now that it's refreshing to see, a letter in the actual mail these days.
Yeah. So it sounds like you know of a lot of people sending out letters. I know that a lot of people know of the Campbell's Soup CEO who sent out over 20,000 letters, and then how Sprint has their teams take entire days to send letters. What other companies are you excited about and that you're surprised by?
Honestly, I haven't personally received a letter
Okay.
from a company, but my husband actually received a letter, and the name is escaping me, but it's a British shirt company, and they wrote him a letter the other day thanking him for purchasing some shirts, and they actually, going back to the detail thing, they called out which shirts he ordered specifically and the size, and offered him a discount off of his next purchase, and it was signed by an actual person. It was typed, not handwritten, but but the effort was really appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that we were just we've talked very little, but one of the things that the idea behind MailLift was we plug right into CRM, so where they printed it before are now completely handwritten. So moving forward with that, you were talking about Instagram and just in general. I know I follow you guys on Facebook and have for a while. You guys have a wonderful community around Crane & Co. Can you tell us a little bit about how you guys went about building such a customer fan base?
I think Crane has the benefit of having its heritage well known within the stationery community. I think anyone who likes stationery knows the Crane brand. We've been around for a very long time. So we have that history and heritage already built in, which was really great. I've found that building a fan base for people who love stationery is all about posting pretty pictures of stationery. So I feel like the more pictures I post of a beautiful piece of paper, beautifully engraved, or letterpress printed, people go nuts over that kind of stuff, at least in my community. And anything that has to do with, any articles that I come across about keeping the art of letter writing alive, they love those too. So it's really just about paying attention to what your fans are enjoying about your page and giving them more of it.
So how would you recommend, going back to the handwritten note, how would you recommend someone gets started with a handwritten letter campaign? Do you have any beginner advice there?
Sure. I think there are two important factors. I think one is really utilizing social media. So in every campaign that I've seen, Instagram has played a big part. And, building a website around it helps. And just really using those social media tools to get the word out. I think the other key big part is reaching out to bloggers and mainstream media for a little press. And I think a little press goes a long way. I know that any campaign that I've learned about has been through, a piece that NPR did on them, or, something that I've seen on a blog that I read, or a Twitter, feed that I follow. So I think it's really important to get other people in that world excited about your projects.
Now, you have a long history in the press world, right? Is that
I
correct? Any suggestions on how someone would go about reaching out to the press with Handwritten Campaign?
Well, if it's a handwriting campaign, I would suggest handwriting letters about your project. I think that would get the attention of any editor. And to kind of cover all of your bases, go small, reach out to some of the smaller bloggers and websites for that kind of coverage. And then, go big, go on the NPR homepage and, find different editors there and do a little research about the kind of topics that they cover. And I think when editors see that you've done your research and know that this is the kind of project they would be interested in, they get excited about it.
So for our audience of businesses, the suggestion that I got out of that was really know who you're reaching out to, and don't be afraid to reach out to big names once you have a few small ones already writing about you.
Exactly.
And build a relationship with the letters. All right.
Yeah. And my other suggestion is when you are pitching, various reporters and editors, give them the story. A writer likes nothing more than to not have to do any work.
So have a story pre-done for them.
Yeah, you give them the story, they will be very grateful.
So finally, what is one thing that everyone should do to create that personal experience? I
think whether it's, from an email to a handwritten letter, whatever it is, just make it, as conversational and heartfelt as possible. Always include those little details that make the recipient know that you've been paying attention, and that you've really taken the time to, craft whatever it is, whether it's, an email or a letter, or even a text message. Just that they can see that you've put in that thought and that care to composing it, I think goes a long way. And watch that email tone.
Well, thank you, Jessica. Again, Jessica is with Crane & Company, Crane & Co. You can go to crane.com, C-R-A-N-E. I know we just ordered another big batch today, and like she said, focusing on the details, they got the details down. One quick question, are all the letters 100% cotton, or is it just most?
They are all 100% cotton.
Yeah.
And
we find that amazing because you could feel the difference.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Our paper, it's as fun to read as it is to touch because you can really just feel that quality.
My favorite part about it is when we send them. Before we were sending letters and they were really thin, but with the Crane & Co., because it is a textured paper, it's a little bit thicker, and it people always talk about the bulk, or like bulking your mail, putting stuff in it, but you don't have to with the Crane & Co. It's already naturally stands out when it's sitting on a table.
Oh yeah, it's the kind of stuff you wanna put away and save forever, definitely.
Well, thanks again, Jessica.
You're welcome.
We appreciated having you here.
Thank you.